Okay, before we begin, I want to make sure you're aware. We are only talking about expressions today. Okay, so there's no equal signs anywhere on this paper. Those are equations when there's an equal sign, and we're going to get there, but today we're just talking about expressions. Now listen, to make sure you can hear me right now, I want you to go ahead and just put a star right there, just a little star in the top corner of your paper. That's just to make sure that you can hear what I'm saying right now. Okay, right now, we're going to talk about the difference between numerical expressions and algebraic expressions, and then we're actually going to learn more about numerical expressions for today. Okay, so numerical expressions, what they look like is they have numbers, okay, and they have operations. That's it. That's all they have in them. So when I say numbers and operations, numbers are things like 5, 3, 2, -7, right? And operations are adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Okay, and dividing usually looks like a fraction when we talk about algebra. In algebraic expressions, there's numbers, there's also operations, and here's the big difference. There's also variables. Okay, now variables are letters, like X is very common. Sometimes we use N, sometimes we use A, sometimes we use P. Doesn't matter what letter we use, but it's used to represent a number that we don't know, or sometimes it's used to represent a number that's changing. So an example of a numerical expression would be something like this: 3 times 5 plus 7. This is numerical. Now look, this is actually an operation, right? When I have parentheses like this is 3 times 5. These parentheses mean multiplication. This is a numerical expression. I might even have in my numerical expression an exponent. Look, here's a numerical expression with some subtraction, and it has division. Look, here's a fraction. Okay, but these are numerical expressions because they still just have our operations and they have numbers. Now, an algebraic expression might look more like this, where it has a variable in it. So here's 3x minus 5 plus 4x, right? So this has operations again, but it also has a variable. It also might have, let's say, for example, some parentheses. So here's another variable, another algebraic expression that has a variable in it. Okay, so something like this is also an algebraic expression. Now, what can you do with it? If I have a numerical expression, what I can do is I can use the order of operations to simplify it. So for a numerical expression, I can take a look. I can look for parentheses first, then I can look for exponents, then I can look for multiplication, division, then I can look for addition, subtraction, and I can simplify it. And when I use those order of operations to simplify, the answer just looks like a number. Okay, so like the answer might be 5, right? There's my answer. I box my answer, 5. Maybe the answer is -12, and I box my answer. That's my answer. This is what the answer looks like when I'm done simplifying something like this, right? Like here, I would multiply first. I would do 15 plus 7. I would get 22. Done. That would be my answer. Right here, I would do my exponents first. I would do my division. I would do my addition and subtraction. I would get an answer, and that would be my answer. Now, with algebraic expressions, I can't use order of operations because look, like for example here, I can't multiply, like if I multiply these two numbers, like this is not a number, so I can't just do the math. So what can I do with it? I can still do some things. I can distribute, okay, and this is, if this is not familiar to you, it's okay, we're gonna learn it. Distribute means when I multiply into parentheses, and I can combine like terms. Combine like terms is like here, for example, I have a 3x and a 4x. I can put those together. So those are things I can do here, and that's going to be our next topic. But here, the answer looks like an expression. It's still going to be an expression. It might be, it might be like this: 5x minus 3 might be the answer, because there's nothing more I can do here. I can't just do 5 minus 3. This is like 5 monkeys minus 3 elephants, right? That doesn't make any sense. I can't actually combine those because these are x's and these aren't. Right? The expression might look like this. And here, let's use a different variable so we can see, like, it doesn't really matter what the variable is, okay? But these are kind of common ways that our answer might look when there's a variable involved, okay? But this is the topic that we're going to focus on right now. So right now, we're just going to take a moment for you to process this. So for each of the expressions below, write an N on the line if it's a numerical expression, okay? Numerical expression. And write an A on the line if it's an algebraic expression. All right, so for example, I'm just gonna do the first two so you can see. Here, I notice there's a variable right here. That means this is an algebraic expression. Here, I look, there's no variables, there's only numbers and operations, and so this is a numerical expression. Okay, go ahead and finish.